We are on chapter 82 of the Krishnabook. Lord Krishna and Balarāma meet the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Inhabitants of Vrindavan. So who are they? They are all the devotees. Once upon a time, while Lord Krishna and Balarāma were living peacefully in their great city of Dwarka, there was the rare occasion of a full solar eclipse, such as takes place at the end of every kalpa or day of Brahma. At the end of every kalpa, the sun is covered by a great cloud, and incessant rain covers the lower planetary systems up to Svarga Loka. That sounds like a lot of rain. By astronomical calculation, people were informed about this great eclipse prior to its taking place, and therefore everyone, both men and women, decided to assemble at a holy place in Kurukshetra known as Samanta Panchaka. So this place, Samanta Panchaka, pilgrimage site, is celebrated because Lord Parashuram performed great sacrifices there after killing all the kshatras in the world 21 times. So that's successive times. When Lord Parashuram killed all the kshatras, their accumulated blood flowed like a stream. It was a lot of kshatras. Lord Parashuram dug 5 big lakes at Samanta Panchaka and filled them with this blood. Lord Parashuram is Vishnu Tattva. As stated in the Ishopanishad, Vishnu Tattva cannot be contaminated by any sinful activity. Yet although Parashuram is fully powerful and uncontaminated, in order to exhibit ideal character, he performed great sacrifices at Samanta Panchaka to atone for his so-called sinful killing of the kshatras. So it's explained that he was actually originally a Brahmana, but then he became so angry he became like a kshatriya and killed all these kshatras. That was because they happened to kill his father. So he had taken proper revenge. Then he sat down in meditation and purified himself for a long time, for hundreds of years. And then he became a Brahmana again. So like that. What else can we say about this story? There was one more thing. What was that? He said he killed them 21 times. So the story is that we see he had kind of a ride. Is that called a ride? What do you call this? Raid. He just seeked out the brahmanas, kshatras everywhere. But the baby kshatras, you could say, they were protected by their mothers. So he didn't kill them. He only killed the grown-up kshatras. So in that way, they could again become grown up after a few years. Again the kshatriya race was present here and there on the earth planet, and again he went on the killing spree. And of course they had already gotten children. So, just repeat 21 times. Like that. So he killed, in other words, a lot of kshatras in the course of probably at least 100 years. It must have taken. Because they had to grow up first before he could kill them. Okay, so this is very gruesome. But anyway, it is, one of the pastimes of the Lord. By his example, Lord Parashuram established that the killing art, although sometimes necessary, is not good. Lord Parashuram considered himself culpable for the sinful killing of the kshatras. Therefore, how much culpable are we for such abominable and sanctioned acts? Thus, from time immemorial, the killing of living entities is prohibited all over the world. Taking advantage of the occasional solar eclipse, all important persons from all parts of Bharatvarsha visited the holy place of pilgrimage. Some of the important personalities are mentioned as follows. Among the elderly persons were Akrura, Vasudeva and Ugrasena, and among the younger generation were Gada, Pradyumna, Samba, and many other members of the other dynasty who had come there with a view to atone for sinful activities accrued in the course of discharging their respective duties. Because almost all the members of the other dynasty went to Kurukshetra, some important personalities like Aniruddha, son of Pradyumna, and Kritavarma, the commander-in-chief of the other dynasty, along with Suchandra, Shuka, and Sarana, remained in Dwarka to protect the city. So just a handful of family members left, and the rest they all went to the place of pilgrimage. All the members of the other dynasty were naturally very beautiful, yet on this occasion they appeared duly decorated with gold necklaces and flower garlands, dressed in valuable clothing and properly armed with their respective weapons. Their natural beauty and personalities were 100 times enhanced. The members of the other dynasty came to Kurukshetra in their gorgeously decorated chariots, which resembled the airplanes of the demigods and which were pulled by big horses that moved like the waves of the ocean. Some Yadus rode on sturdy, stalwart elephants that moved like the clouds in the sky. Their wives were carried on beautiful palanquins by beautiful men whose features resembled those of the Vidyadharas. The entire assembly looked as beautiful as an assembly of the demigods of heaven. After arriving in Kurukshetra, the members of the Yadu dynasty took their baths ceremoniously, with self-control as enjoined in the Shastras, and they observed fasting. Oh, we got our mates in the chat box, Chaitanya Kumar Sharma and viral YouTuber Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste, so nice to see you. Dandavad Pranam. There. Okay, so they observed fasting for the whole period of the eclipse in order to nullify the reactions of their sinful activities. Since it is a Vedic custom to give in charity as much as possible during the hours of the eclipse, the members of the other dynasty distributed many hundreds of cows in charity too. So who do you guess they distributed them to? Huh? Yes. All those cows were fully decorated with nice dress and ornaments. The special feature of these cows was that they had golden ankle bells and flower garlands on their necks. So there is still in India, there is an occupation just to make flower garlands. I saw myself when I was in Dwarka. It's a whole crew of people who has as their job to make flower garlands. So what to speak of back in the day?
Also sit there and sell them before the temples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. After the eclipse, all the members of the other dynasty again took their baths in the lakes created by Lord Parshuram. Then they sumptuously fed the brahmanas with first-class cooked food, all prepared in butter. So, as we know, this butter is the same as ghee, clarified butter. Yep. Because butter in itself, as we're buying in the shop, if you try to cook with that, it becomes brown very quickly, burned.
Yeah. Frying in the butter.
Yeah. I mean, of course, if you have very small heat, then it works. But
you cannot even cook it in the pan almost because it burns.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the idea with ghee, that you have melted that butter and you have removed this stuff that makes it burned. So in that way, with ghee you can cook much higher. Huh?
I think it's protein usually. It's separated in 3 layers, this butter, and the ghee is the biggest part, is the gold, and there's some white on the top and white on the bottom.
Yeah, it's true.
On the top is the salt.
Yeah, you must be correct with that. I tried to make ghee a few times, and it definitely separates like this. 3 different things, yeah. But the other stuff is also tasty. That depends on which butter you buy. If you buy a butter which is of the very salty type, then this excess stuff is too salty actually for eating.
I think I prefer unsalted butter.
Yeah.
Just the pure flavor is so nice.
That's better. Yeah. Okay, so according to the Vedic system, there are 2 classes of food. Now, listen to this. One class of food is called raw food, and the other is called cooked food.
Oh, really?
But now, listen to this. Raw food does not indicate raw vegetables and raw grains, but food boiled in water. Whereas cooked food is made in ghee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've heard this, you can say Indian term, in Indian language, I forgot what it's called. But I know that the one which is made in ghee is called pakka. Something like that. Yeah.
Som i pakora?
No, paka, it means like good. It means that if you are paka, you know, sometimes you have this expression paka brahmana. It means a brahmana who, it doesn't mean a brahmana who is cooked. It means a brahmana who is, it means a brahmana who is really, you know, he's doing everything properly. Oh, here he's chipping in Chaitanya Kumar. He says paka hua. Yeah. Oh yeah, I am from Norway, sir. Yeah. Paka means real. Okay, very good.
Oh, wow.
So you know, both are Prabhus. They are brahmanas. You know, they come from brahmana families, so they can help us out here. That's good. Yeah.
That is prepared in just water. It's not really a real food.
Well, you know, it said that the devatas, they're only eating cooked food. That means, you know, all the food they're eating is made with ghee, all of it.
Okay.
Oh, here it says pak gaya means cooked. Okay, interesting. Oh, Viral Tube says he watched Norway national team football matches. Very good. Yeah, Norway is good in football.
Really?
Yeah, he's watching probably from his Indian, place. Okay, so
made it to World Mastership a few times, or was it just the European Mastership?
I'm not so updated with the football things, but anyway, Haaland, yeah, Haaland is the man. You know, he's into meditation, you know, Haaland. I saw, you know, he said that. He got a lot of power. Every day he's meditating, you know, for some time. Yeah. Okay, so chapatis, dal, rice, and ordinary vegetables are called raw foods, as are fruits and salads. But puris, kocharis, samosas, sweet balls, and so on are called cooked foods. All the brahmanas invited on that occasion by the members of the Yadu dynasty were fed sumptuously with cooked food. Yeah, living the good life. Yeah. Okay, the ceremonial functions performed by the members of the Yadu dynasty externally resembled the ritualistic ceremonies performed by the karmis. Could we digest this sentence? Let's see. Yeah, but of course it was a karmi is called, you know, kind of a materialistic ritualist. When a karmi performs some ritualistic ceremony, his ambition is sense gratification, good position, good wife, good house, good children, or good wealth. But the ambition of the members of the Yadu dynasty were different. Their ambition was to offer Krishna perpetual devotion with faith. All the members of the Yadu dynasty were great devotees. As such, after many births of accumulated pious activities, they were given the chance to associate with Lord Krishna. In going to take their baths in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, in observing the regulatory principles during the solar eclipse, or in feeding the brahmanas, in all their activities, they simply thought of devotion to Krishna. Their idol worshipable Lord was Krishna, and no one else. Exactly. So here we got confirmed in the chat that, yeah, he's doing actually meditation after each time he's scoring a goal, actually. Hold on. Yeah. He told me here in the chat.
I wonder what he meditates upon.
He meditates, upon God. I'm pretty sure all great successes in the world, they are believing in God. This is my experience. Everybody, that's how they became, great. I'm very sure. They're praying to God every day, but they may pray for material success. That's why they get it. Well, you have Hare Krishna devotees. They rarely pray for material success, so that's why you don't see many of them in the top like that. But anyway, what was your take? You're going to say something?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't have anything. I'm just wondering what is he meditating upon. It's like it's yoga essentially. If you're thinking about God after every time you score.
That's 100% yoga. I mean, that's extremely pious for one thing, and another thing is that this is Krishna must be the idol of Harlan. Yeah. He just haven't heard about Krishna maybe, but I mean soon it's going to be clear.
Someone to actually reveal Krishna to him, and then he will probably be like completely accept, like yes,
yeah.
This is him.
So give him a Gita, any of you, if you can. Okay, so after the brahmanas are fed, it is the custom for the host, with their permission, to accept prasadam. So you saw that one? So first feeding all the guests, including the brahmanas, and then the host, they can sit and take. Yeah. Thus, with the permission of the brahmanas, all the members of the other dynasty took lunch. Also, the whole dynasty took lunch after the brahmanas. Okay, I get it. Then they selected resting places underneath big shady trees, and when they had taken sufficient rest, they prepared to receive visitors, among who were relatives and friends, as well as many subordinate kings and rulers. So there's a lot of kings, but they're just kings of small provinces or small cities, in comparison to the main cities. There were the rulers of Matsya province, Ushinara province, Kushala province, Vidarbha province, Kuru province, Srinjaya province, Cambodia province, Kekaya province, Madras province, Kunti province, Anarta province, Kerala province. Oh, Kerala still has the same name. Yeah. And many other countries and provinces. Some of the rulers belonged to opposing parties and some were friends, but above all, the visitors from Vrindavan were most prominent. They're going to be the most prominent in this text. The residents of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj, had been living in great anxiety because of separation from Krishna and Balarāma. Taking advantage of the solar eclipse, they all came to see their life and soul, Krishna and Balarāma. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were well-wishers and intimate friends of the Yadu dynasty. This meeting of the two parties after long separation was a very touching incident. All the Yadus and the residents of Vrindavan felt such great pleasure in meeting and talking together that it was a unique scene. Meeting after long separation, they were all jubilant. Their hearts throbbed. What does that mean, throbbed?
It's like it beats intensely.
Okay, beating intensely. And their faces appeared like freshly bloomed lotus flowers. Drops of tears fell from their eyes, the hair on their bodies stood on end, and because of their extreme ecstasy, they were temporarily speechless. In other words, they dove into the ocean of happiness. Has anybody actually experienced, any of us here, that the hairs have been standing on end because of ecstasy? I don't know if I ever experienced.
Closest thing I can relate to is that when watching a movie or something, if there's like a hero who's like making a grand appearance and saying something very cool, the hair would be like goosebumps.
When you were watching the movie, you experienced that?
Yeah, you never got goosebumps watching a movie?
Well, probably I did, but what is actually goosebumps? I mean, it's coming from the goose.
Essentially, someone is so attractive and cool, making a very grand appearance or doing something spectacular, then it's like sometimes you will get what is called frysninger and goosebumps. It's essentially the same phenomenon. It's like the hair, the nerves of the hair will become very active, like they're firing.
Oh, I see.
Like
I see.
Electric sensation.
Yeah, electric. Yeah. Okay, I have experienced. Thank you. Now I understand what it is. Yeah. So while the men were meeting in that way, the women also met one another in the same manner. So you can see, this separation of the sexes, it was popular back then. They were like, having their separate, kind of meetings. They embraced one another in great friendship, smiling very mildly, and looked at one another with much affection. When they were embracing one another in their arms, the saffron and kumkum spread on their breasts. Well, kumkum is the same. It look this stuff that they put in the this dot in the forehead, yeah.
Oh, really?
That's also called kumkum. It's reddish.
There's it had some special name, some color. I can't remember what it's called. Pigment.
Yeah, pigment. Yeah. So it said, that this was also Now I see. He explained there. Erector pili muscle. That's actually what's standing on end. That's a hair erector muscles. He was explaining in the chat box.
The hairs, they literally also look like goosebumps because the hair would actually be like that. But
yeah, very nice. So so this you have to ask Indians how it works, but they also put it apparently on the breasts. At least they did back in the day. This same kumkum.
It could be like a little bit maybe reddish.
Reddish. So when Krishna he put his feet on the breasts of the gopis, then he was red under his feet, and then that was transferred to the water and stuff like that, and then it's kind of poets are describing these kind of things. So so in that way it's like a whole thing. So when they were embracing one another in their arms, the saffron and kumkum spread on their breasts were exchanged from one person to another, and they all felt heavenly ecstasy. Due to such heart-to-heart embracing, torrents of tears glided down their cheeks. The juniors were offering obeisances to the elders, and the elders were offering their blessings to the juniors. They thus welcomed one another and asked after one another's welfare. Ultimately, however, all their talk was only of Krishna. All the neighbors and relatives were connected with Lord Krishna's pastimes in this world, and as such, Krishna was the center of all their activities. Whatever activities they performed, social, political, religious, or conventional, were transcendental. So in one sense, it means that it's just about Krishna, really, or it's orbiting around Krishna, everything.
It's actually very sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet, I mean, it's possible to understand it. I think so. Say, for example, you have some great celebrity, some great pop star or something,
really great celebrity. I cannot imagine anyone who is alive today.
Well, you have a few who are still great celebrities, and then people are orbiting around that person and having a talk. And then they may go to a party together like that, but actually it's all because they're all fans of this same personality.
But I cannot imagine anyone being like how they were treating with Krishna and talking about, because they have no other literally. There's no comparison, especially not today.
There is really no comparison. I completely agree about that. There is no comparison.
I cannot imagine anyone is so nice and beautiful and this and that, but nothing like Krishna, right?
Nobody can compare to Krishna. But what I mean, it may not be that they're always talking about Krishna. I mean, of course, the gopis are, but there are others who they may talk about their own family life, but still they will kind of include Krishna in the picture. It depends on how much devoted they are. The thing about the gopis is that they were the highest devotees. So they're completely absorbed in Krishna, like that. So that is the symptom of perfect knowledge. And because their minds were always engaged in Krishna, they were automatically freed from all material activities. This stage of life is called Yukta Vairagya, as enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Knowledge and renunciation therefore does not mean dry speculation and renunciation of activities. Rather, one must start speaking and acting only in relationship with Krishna. So it's difficult to fake this. So I mean, I guess it has to be done with a little bit of caution, in relationship with non-devotees at least. Cannot just talk about Krishna to your family members who are not into that.
I think you can,
but I mean, they will be fried pretty soon, and write you off as a mindless fanatic.
I guess it's according to everyone's taste.
Yeah, of course you can get rid of your materialistic friends quite soon by doing that tactic. Yeah, just talking about Krishna, then probably they will shy away from you. Or those who stay, they actually are devotee material, so to speak. Yeah, but of course everybody is supposed to be a part of Krishna, so everybody can be a devotee, of course. It's maybe also just up to Krishna who is going to be it in this life or in the next.
Because everyone is doing service in different capacities.
Yeah, this is the vision of the Mahabhagavat. The Mahabhagavat thinks that actually everybody is actually doing service already. So who am I to preach to them? So the Mahabhagavat, he doesn't preach actually. He just thinks everything is good. I can just sit and chant.
You can preach still. It's nothing like you cannot preach just because you think everyone is already engaged in this service.
No, I mean, sorry, it's called the Paramahamsa. That's one type of Mahabhagavat.
them see them always in connection with Krishna, so that there's no, there's never any issue about need correction or anything.
That's the point. So it's in that way it's said, that he doesn't actually tell anybody that you should go to Krishna, you should chant or nothing. He's just absorbed in his own bhajan, like that. But those who may want to preach, they go down to the Madhyamadikari level and start discriminating.
I cannot start thinking what is this level that is talking about, because even Chaitanya was preaching and Narayana, like the most elevated.
Yeah.
They're also preaching.
So it's just said it's just two different moods. You can be a Bhajyananandi or Goshtyanandi. Goshtyanandis, they don't preach, they're just satisfied with their own bhajan. Sorry, the other one, Bhajananandi does not preach. Goshtyanandi, he wants to be around people and share Krishna consciousness.
Essentially, it's just about being content, like where you are, or wanting to spread, or have a mission, or something.
Well, it can be so many different ways. You have the Avaduta also to make the picture complete. Avaduta is also having his own way of doing it.
Is there an example in some scripture? Usually these people who are not preaching, but they're just a very humble, Brahmins and stuff, they, I don't know, I feel like they're just it's a totally different rasa.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, it differs from case to case. Anyway, I got a question here now on the chat. What first drew you to Lord Krishna and the path of Bhakti Yoga? And at what age you started doing Bhakti? Okay, so I'm born in 1976 and I met the devotees in 1997. So that I was 21 years old. And then what drew me to Lord Krishna and the path of Bhakti Yoga? I was introduced to I'm not this body. That was the thing. And that really drew me to the whole thing, yeah. That was the first thing I heard. And that made me very interested.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And from there...
how did you, or in what setting did you meet the devotees? Did you meet them on the street, or?
No. I got a friend who was a devotee. I mean, because I was doing.
Actually, was it through your parents or something?
Yeah, I was doing music, so I met him and we did some music. I was trying to do it, but anyway, we actually didn't do no music, but he just explained everything about spiritual life. So then I next day I just want to go to the temple.
Okay.
So I probably was quite ready for it. So where were we?
They were just crying in ecstasy and hair standing on them. But
yeah. So Kunti Devi especially addressed her brother Vasudeva as follows. Yeah, so Kunti Devi, she met her brother Vasudeva. So Vasudeva is the father of Krishna, as you are aware. My camera is always just slanting more and more to the side. I don't know what to do with it. I have to move it all the time.
Maybe I would personally I would use the camera in PC already, but maybe.
No, that camera is not as good. This is much better, the one I bought. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so Kunti Devi, she then spoke to her brother as follows: "My dear brother, I am very unfortunate because no one of my desires has ever been fulfilled. Otherwise, how could it happen that although I have such a saintly brother as you, perfect in all respects, you did not inquire for me as to how I was passing my days in a distressed condition of life?" She's kind of complaining. It appears that Kunti Devi was remembering the miserable days when she had been banished with her sons through the mischievous plans of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. She continued. Okay, I'll try and have her voice, okay? "My dear brother, I can understand that when providence goes against someone, even one's dear relatives forget him. In such a condition, even one's father, one's mother, or one's own children will forget him. Therefore, my dear brother, I do not accuse you." Vasudeva replied to his sister, "My dear sister, do not be sorry. Do not blame me in that way. We should always remember that we are only toys in the hands of Providence. Everyone is under control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is under His control only that all kinds of fruitive actions and their reactions take place. My dear sister, you know that we were very much harassed by King Kamsa. By his persecutions we were scattered here and there. We were always full of anxieties. Only in the last few days have we returned to our own palaces, by the grace of God. Own places, anyway." After this conversation, Vasudeva and Ugraseva received the kings who came to see them, and they warmly welcomed them all. Seeing Lord Krishna present on the spot, all the visitors felt transcendental pleasure and became very peaceful. Some of the prominent visitors were as follows. Bhishmadeva, Dronacharya. Yeah?
He's so good, Vasudeva is so good at pacifying. He's really a very sweet character.
Yeah, he's amazing. That's for sure. He's one of a kind. Yeah. So let's see what he says. So he's mentioning, he's dropping a lot of names now. Bhishmadeva, Dronacharya, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, Gandhari along with her sons, King Yudhishthir along with his wife, and the Pandavas along with Kunti, as well as Sanjaya, Vidur, Kripacharya, Kunti Borj, Virata, Bhishmaka, King Nagnajit, Purujit, Drupada, Shalya, Drishtaketu, the king of Kashi, Dhamagosha, Vishalaksha, the king of Mithila, the king of Madras, formerly known as Madra, the king of Kekaya, Yudamanyu, Susharma, Bhalika, along with his sons, and many other rulers subordinate to King Yudhishthir. And now back to Lord Krishna. When the visitors saw Lord Krishna with his thousands of queens, they were fully satisfied at the sight of such beauty and transcendental opulence. So Krishna was there apparently with all his queens, 16,000 of them. All who were there personally visited Lord Balarāma and Krishna, and being properly welcomed by them, they began to glorify the members of the other dynasty. Especially Krishna and Balaram. Because Ugrasena was the king of the Borjas, he was considered the chief Yadu, and therefore the visitors specifically addressed him. Your Majesty, Ugrasena, king of the Borjas, factually, Yadus are the only persons within this world who are perfect in all respects. All glories unto you, all glories unto you. The specific condition of your perfection is that you always see Lord Krishna, who is sought by many mystic yogis undergoing severe austerities and penances for great numbers of years. All of you are in direct touch with the Lord Krishna at every moment. All the Vedic hymns glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The Ganges water is considered sanctified because of its being the water used to wash the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. The Vedic literatures are nothing but injunctions of Lord Krishna. The purpose of the study of all Vedas is to know Lord Krishna. Therefore the words of Krishna and the messages of his pastimes are always purifying. By the influence of time and circumstances, all the opulences of this world were almost completely wiped out. But since Krishna has appeared on this planet, all auspicious features have again appeared due to the touch of his lotus feet. Because of his presence, all our ambitions and desires are gradually being fulfilled. Your Majesty, King of the Borjas, you are related with the other dynasty by matrimonial relationship, and by blood relationship also. As a result, you are constantly associating with Lord Krishna. You have no difficulty in seeing him or touching him at any time. Lord Krishna moves with you, talks with you, sits with you, rests with you, and dines with you. The others appear to be always engaged in worldly affairs, which are considered to be the royal road to hell. But due to the presence of Lord Krishna, the original personality of Godhead in the Vishnu category, who is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, all of you are factually relieved from all material contamination and are situated in the transcendental position of liberation and Brahman existence. Jai. When Nanda Maharaj, yeah,
Was it Narada?
no, this is like this is the prajas. This is like all the people. You can say, yeah, of course. What it means because I read a lot of his text, what it means when it says the people were speaking or something like that, or like the Yadus were speaking, it means that they have selected one spokesperson for them. And he is actually speaking. There is, of course, just one person speaking. So here it said the visitors. They're talking to the chief of the Yadus, the Ugrasena, who is the king of Dwarka.
I like it a lot. It's a funny thing. A lot of the time they have like a whole group of people speaking like prayers.
Yeah, but what it means is that just one of them are doing it actually on behalf of all the others. Yeah.
I imagine they all. It's something that's different.
No, it's not actually like that. Anyway, when Nanda Maharaj and other residents of Vrindavan had heard that Krishna would be present in Kurukshetra because of the solar eclipse, that all the members of the Yadu dynasty would also be there, they had immediately prepared to go there. King Nanda, accompanied by his cavalrymen, had loaded all their necessary paraphernalia on bullock carts, and all the Vrindavan residents had come to Kurukshetra to see their beloved sons, Lord Balarāma and Lord Krishna. Okay, so I'll just fast forward a little bit. So Vasudeva, he's going to meet Nanda Maharaj now. As soon as Vasudeva saw Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva jumped up and ran over to him and embraced him very affectionately. Vasudeva began to narrate his own past history, how he had been imprisoned by King Kamsa, how his babies had been killed, how immediately after Lord Krishna's birth he had carried Krishna to the place of Nanda Maharaj, and how Krishna and Balarāma had been raised by Nanda Maharaj and his queen Yashoda as their own children. So just a recap of that story. So Krishna, he was born in the prison, and his father was Vasudeva and mother was Devaki. And Vasudeva, he transported Krishna out in the night. Somewhere or other he could escape from the prison. And he brought the newborn baby Krishna out because Kamsa had promised that he would kill, the newborn, the 8th born son. Actually, he killed all the 7. He killed the 7 before also. Yeah.
Actually, Vishnu just put yoga over them, and all the guards were asleep, and all the gates were open.
That's what happened. So it's in that way, he could escape nicely with child Krishna, and even he was going to cross the water, and even the water is split to the sides.
Yeah.
So it was no problem really.
And was the serpent was also covering from the rain?
Yeah, Sheshanaga appeared and with his hoods he protected Krishna from being wet like an umbrella. Yeah, there are some details like that. So then he left it off. He left the baby Krishna off there in Vrindavan, and that was the wife of Nanda Maharaj who got that child Krishna. So she is also like the mother then. Some say that she is actually the real mother, and Devaki is secondary mother. So anyway, so Vasudeva had narrated his history, and then similarly Lord Balarāma and Krishna also embraced King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, and they offered their respects unto the lotus feet by bowing down. So Balarāma and Krishna are bowing down for their parents, okay? Because of their feeling affection for Nanda and Yashoda, Lord Krishna and Balarāma became choked up, and for a few seconds they could not speak. The most fortunate King Nanda and Mother Yashoda placed their sons on their laps and began to embrace them to their full satisfaction. So mind you that now, Balarāma and Krishna, they are grown-up people, but they have a great affection. Because of separation from Krishna and Balarāma, King Nanda and Yashoda had been merged in great distress for a very long time. Now after meeting them and embracing them, all their sufferings were mitigated. So as you have heard probably before, that Krishna, he never passes 16 years in his bodily age. He doesn't look like more than 16. Although he became old according to the time. He was 125 years old, I think, or 120, before he left this lila. Then Krishna's mother Devaki and Balarāma's mother Rohini both embraced Mother Yashoda. Yeah. They said, "Dear Queen Yashoda Devi, you and Nanda Maharaj have been great friends to us, and when we remember you, we are immediately overwhelmed by the thought of your friendly activities. We are so indebted to you that even if we were to return your benediction by giving you the opulence of the King of Heaven, it would not be enough to repay you for your friendly behavior. We shall never forget your kindly behavior towards us. When Krishna and Balarāma were born, before they even saw their real father and mother, they were entrusted to your care, and you raised them as your own children, fostering them as birds take care of their offspring in the nest. You have nicely fed, nourished, and loved them, and have performed many auspicious religious ceremonies for their benefit. Actually, they are not our sons. They belong to you. Nanda Maharaj and you are the real father and mother of Krishna and Balarāma. As long as they were under your care, they had not even a pinch of difficulty. Under your protection, they were completely out of the way of all kinds of fear. This most affectionate care which you have taken for them is completely befitting your elevated positions. The most noble personalities does not discriminate between their own sons and the sons of others. There cannot be any personalities more noble than Nanda Maharaj and you. Yeah. As far as the gopis of Vrindavan were concerned, from the very beginning of their lives, they did not know anything beyond Krishna. Krishna and Balarāma were their very life and soul. The gopis were so attached to Krishna that they could not tolerate not seeing him even momentarily when their eyelids blinked and impeded their vision. They condemned Brahma, the creator of the body, because he foolishly made eyelids which blinked and checked them seeing Krishna. Can you imagine? Because they had been separated from Krishna for so many years, the gopis, having come along with Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, felt intense ecstasy upon seeing Krishna. No one can even imagine how eager the gopis were to see Krishna again. As soon as Krishna became visible to them, they took him inside their hearts, through their eyes, and embraced him to their full satisfaction. Okay, so... oh, sorry, I snapped out of the chat box. It says, read my question. Okay, what is the question? Sir, what's the name of warrior which was in Mahabharata, and he can finish the whole war in just 3 arrows, but he chopped off his head and gave it to Krishna? Who was that? I heard that. I think. Oh, wait a minute. Who chopped off his head and gave it to Krishna? Have you heard that, Christopher? Are you still there? Christopher? I was just reading and I even lost Christopher on the way. Sorry, Christopher.
Hello?
You fell asleep?
Hello?
Yeah, we have a question here by Viral Tuber. He asks...
Yes, the microphone just, for some reason, went
yeah,
to sleep.
He asked to know...
yeah. I thought it was Dronacharya's... he was worshipping Dronacharya. And... he was the competitor of Arjuna.
No, that's another one. No, that's another one. That's the one who chopped off his finger and gave it. His thumb. That's another one. Yeah. That's Ekalavya. No, it's not this one.
And there's also Ashwatthana, who chopped off the heads of the Pandavas.
Well, you know, yeah, he chopped off the head of the Pandavas. But this story, it says here, he chopped off his own head and gave it to Krishna. That sounds even mystical. How can you do that? So...
No, I can only remember this one guy who had many arms and wanted to compete with Shiva or something. And he
yeah, that's another one. That's Vritasura. Vrikasura. So that's another one. That's for Shiva. I have to say, you know, okay, Babrik. Okay, I never heard that story, Viral Tuber, actually. I didn't hear that story.
Was it in the Mahabharata then?
Well, you know, apparently, so I mean, there is a story, but I mean, it's kind of unofficial, you know. I mean, sorry, it was not it was barbaric, yeah, or barbaric, yeah. So Krishna was demanding his head in alms. Yeah, I think that appears actually. I don't know. Yeah. So Viral Tuber, it's not in the original Mahabharata, as I know. Maybe it's one side story, but it appeared in the movie, in the serial, the Mahabharata serial. There it appeared. You know, B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata. In that, you know. TV serial, then he appears there. He's the son of Gatotkacha, the son of Bhima. This Rakshasa son. So he's the son of him, and he got some blessings from Shiva, and then so he said he could end the war very quickly. And he said, you only have 3 arrows and a bow, so how can you end the war just so quickly? Krishna was, So then Barbaric, he explained the power of his 3 arrows. He said the first arrow, it can observe all the objects that it wants to be destroyed. The second arrow, it will mark all the objects that it wants to be protected. And the third arrow drives and destroys the ones who require to be killed. It just seeks out everyone.
I think I heard about this guy actually.
Yeah, so Barbaric was capable of destroying everyone with shoot of his 3 arrows. But anyway, so then Krishna is having a test on him. It's too complicated, this. But anyway, some or other he is shooting. He's supposed to connect all the leaves of the tree that he was standing under with his shooting. So then
So Krishna got his head in arms.
Yeah. So how is this? I mean, it's a complex story. It's a complex story. So anyway, Krishna asked for Barbaric's head in a donation, so that he cannot be part of the war. So Barbaric, he is doing that.
Okay.
So but his head is apparently alive. So he's putting his head on top of the mountain to witness the battlefield. So this is a far out story, definitely. So he's even, of course, he's worshipped also some places. Yeah. So Barbaric was a powerful warrior, the grandson of Bhima. Yes, well, Rakshasa. Yeah. Okay, we got that solved. Back to the story of today. Let's see. Okay, so let's just fast forward a little bit. So Krishna was sitting with Mother Yashoda and his other mothers, Devaki and Rohini. But when the mothers engaged in talking, he took the opportunity and went to a secluded place to meet the gopis. As soon as he approached the gopis, the Lord smiled, and after embracing them and inquiring about their welfare, he began to encourage them, saying, "My dear friends, you know that Lord Balarāma and I left Vrindavan just to please our enemies and our family members. Thus we were long engaged in fighting with our enemies and were obliged to forget you, who were so much attached to me in love and affection. I can understand that I have been ungrateful to you, but still I know that you are faithful to me. May I inquire if you have been thinking of us, although we had to leave you behind? My dear gopis, do you now dislike remembering me, considering me to have been ungrateful to you? Do you take my misbehavior with you very seriously? After all, you should know that it was not my intention to leave you. Our separation was ordained by Providence, who after all is the supreme controller and does as he desires. He causes the intermingling of different persons, and again disperses them as he desires. Sometimes we see that a strong wind will mingle together clouds, atomic particles of dust or broken pieces of cotton, and after the strong wind subsides, all the clouds, particles of dust, and pieces of cotton are again separated, scattered in different places. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the creator of everything. The objects we see are different manifestations of his energy. By his supreme will, we are sometimes united and sometimes separated. We can therefore conclude that ultimately we are absolutely dependent on his will. Yeah. Again, YouTube is complaining it doesn't get enough data. What can I do?
I think you have some malpractice that you forget to do something. Because
well, I think I forget to speak. If I speak, I should give YouTube enough data, don't you think? Fortunately, you have developed loving affection for me, which is the only way to achieve the transcendental position of association with me. Any living entity who develops such unalloyed devotion, affection for me, certainly at the end goes back home, back to Godhead. In other words, unalloyed devotional service and affection for me are the cause of supreme liberation. My dear Gopi friends, you may know from me that it is my energies only which are acting everywhere. Take, for example, an earthen pot. It is nothing but a combination of earth, water, air, fire, and sky. It is always of the same physical composition, whether it's in the beginning, during its existence, or after its annihilation. When it is created, the earthen pot is made of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. While it remains, it is in the same composition. And when it is broken and annihilated, its different ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material energy. Similarly, at the creation of this cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance and after its dissolution, everything is but a different manifestation of my energy. And because the energy is not separate from me, it is to be concluded that I am existing in everything. So he's giving a whole lecture. Actually, it's said in the original text that Krishna's nature is that when he talks with somebody, he has a tendency to give them a whole lecture. and the gopis, they are just tolerating that.
But they actually take great pleasure in listening to him.
Yeah, but they're kind of tolerating also because they rather just want to be with him, than just. I mean, to be honest, they're not that much interested in the philosophy. They just want to be directly with Krishna. So anyway, but it's for instruction of humankind, he's saying this. Also, I mean, in the same way, the body of a living being is nothing but a composition of the 5 elements, and the living entity embodied in the material condition is also part and parcel of me. The living entity is imprisoned in the material condition on account of its false conception of himself as a supreme enjoyer. This false ego of the living entity is the cause of its imprisonment in the material existence. As the Supreme Absolute Truth, I am transcendental to the living entity, as well as to his material embodiment. The 2 energies, material and spiritual, both act under my supreme control. My dear gopis, I request that instead of being afflicted, you try to accept everything with a philosophical attitude. Then you will understand that you are always with me, and that there is no chance of lamentation in our being separated from one another. So Viral Tuber, I'm reading Krishnabook. That's a summary of 10th canto. Yeah, I'm just writing to ensure our sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this important instruction by Lord Krishna to the gopis can be utilized by all devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. The whole philosophy is considered on the basis of inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he is present everywhere in his impersonal feature. Can we remember the Sanskrit of that? Mayamidam tata sarvam avyakta murtina. Yeah, you remember? He says, I'm everywhere. Yeah, I'm everywhere in my unmanifested form. I pervade everything. He says. So everything exists in him, but still is not personally present everywhere. Okay, so we just fast forward a little bit. And if the devotees know perfectly that the Archa Vigraha or deity form of Lord Krishna in the temple is exactly the same Satchidananda Vigraha as Krishna himself, then his service to the temple deity becomes direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Did you hear that? If you serve the deity in the temple with full conviction that this is Krishna, then Prabhupada says here, you are actually serving Krishna. It's about our consciousness.
Yes.
So this is an amazing thing. Actually, it's a good reminder because I was just now in the Bergen temple for the first time for a couple of months. And again, I saw the lovely Nitya Gaurachandra deities, which are almost life-size. I mean, a half of life-size. They're quite big. Relatively, at least they're big compared to the Oslo deities in physical size. Yeah. So similarly, the temple itself, the temple paraphernalia, and the food offered to the deity are also not separate from Krishna.
Yes.
One has to follow the rules and regulations prescribed by the acharyas, and thus, under superior guidance, Krishna realization is fully possible, even in this material existence. So I always have a question, and that's where is the transformation taking place from mundane to spiritual? Where is it taking place?
It must be the subtle body.
Yes. That's true. It's a spiritualization of the subtle body. In there, when one is getting realizations. Because all the time, actually, everything is actually spiritual. But the notion that something is material, it's coming from the Maya Shakti, the illusory energy, makes us think that this is material and that Krishna is not there. But once we understand that Krishna is there, then it is 100% spiritual. Yes. So the gopis have been instructed by Krishna. Yeah?
Sorry, I had actually a lot of issues with that exact concept a few times, because it's like, we're preaching that the soul is eternally the same, but at the same time we're making progress in spiritual realization. So like, this progress is not eternal.
Well, you see, it's a show being made so that we should be inspired, because we're still material contaminated, maybe. So we have this kind of idea that we should make progress. But actually, we're just getting Lord's mercy. And by His mercy is removing, the ignorance which are covering us. So this ignorance is called the Jiva Kosha. So,
yes, I accept this. Yeah. This sounds a lot more sensible than I guess we have some premises which I need a guru to actually clear up.
Yeah, it's true that you actually need a guru for that. So actually, that's really a coincidence. I didn't read this actually, but here actually it's going to be mentioned. The consciousness of the living entity who falsely presents himself as the enjoyer of the material world is called Jiva Kosha. See, I just mentioned it, now it's here. That's amazing. Which means... I didn't actually read this, I promise. Which means imprisonment by the false ego.
Krishna was talking exactly about this, that the living entity thinking himself different, the situation is like this.
Yeah, of course I have read this text before in my life, so probably I just somehow or other knew that this was coming up next. Yeah. Okay, so not only the gopis, but anyone who follows these instructions of Krishna is immediately freed from the Jiva Kosha imprisonment. Yeah, so Kosha, just a little bit about that. It means kind of it can mean a container. It can mean a covering, like that. Yeah. So a person in full Krishna consciousness is always liberated from false egoism. He utilizes everything for Krishna's service and is not at any time separated from Krishna. So what does it mean, is false egoism? It means just that one thinks one is something else than Krishna's servant.
Somehow, like, I cannot imagine how this takes place, because everyone wants to be with him, right? It's all attractive, so it must be something like we discuss with him that, we want to have a particular pastime or something. No,
I mean, it's only two options as far as acharyas are. I mean, I won't get into this too much, but one option is that voluntarily one was coming to the spiritual world, to the material world, in order to do some seva. So that's like the example of Jaya and Vijaya. They wanted to come to have a good fight with Krishna, because Krishna likes fighting. Yeah, so they came as demons in 3 successive births.
The meaning of being Parameshvara is exactly that we're not making independent choices at any point. We're simply being dragged along by the super soul or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, just to give you an idea, the soul has been described many times as innocent. Okay, so that's why it's also said that we should not play punisher, of other people. Because what's happening when we poke our nose into other people's karma, then we are getting, illusioned by that duality, and we even get, contaminated by that. That's the thing, actually. That's why all the sages, they stay away, from worldly dealings. They simply absorb themselves in the spiritual, and they pass it on to others if they can, to keep themselves clean. Yeah, that's okay. But there's also a problem here, because what is the point entirely then of... because it's like, we made also the point earlier, like it's different rasa, right? Some people are preaching, some are not. And
yeah. So that's fine, but the point is that we have our own spiritual realization to take care of, and once we get on that track, it will all be revealed to us what is the actual situation of all of these things. We cannot understand it by thinking about it or speculating. We can't really understand, but by just keeping on doing service and like that, gradually studying more, discussing more, talking with different devotees, gradually it dawns upon us what is the actual situation. Yeah, so Otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense from the logical point of view, because this is beyond logic. It's achintya. Achintya kaliya bhava natams tarkyana yo jayat. This cannot be understood by tarkya or logic. So anyway, a person in full Krishna consciousness is always liberated from false egoism. Yeah. So here, the gopis therefore pray to Lord Krishna. Dear Krishna, from your navel emanated the original lotus flower, which is the birth site of Brahma, the creator. No one can estimate your glories or your opulence, which therefore remain always a mystery even to the highest thoughtful men, the masters of all yogic power. However, the conditioned soul fallen in the dark well of this material existence can very easily take shelter of your lotus feet. Thus his deliverance is guaranteed. The gopis continued, Dear Krishna, you are always busy in our... The gopis continued, Dear Krishna, we are always busy in our material affairs. We therefore request that you remain within our hearts as the rising sun. That will be your greatest benediction. The gopis are always liberated souls. Yeah. Isn't that nice? This is simplicity.
It's very nice.
This is really, the pure heart. Making life very simple. If one is just filled with love like the gopis, everything is very easy, isn't it?
I think the gopis are almost suffering more than anyone else, it seems.
Well, that's also true.
So much attached to him that Krishna is somehow leaving them, and the gopis are so much afflicted when Krishna leaves them.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's so hearing how they lament and how they pray to him. It's like waves of happiness and then lamentation and then ecstasy and back and forth all the time.
Yeah, it's painful, really. So
one moment they're just completely absorbed in love. The other moment they're cursing him.
Yeah, but of course you can understand that at least they don't have the issues that we have in the material world. They're completely, that doesn't really exist for him because it's completely irrelevant, It's
what issues do you mean?
I mean, all the issues we have here with wars, sickness, bank account, whatever, getting a job, getting educated. They don't think about nothing of this.
It's a way too complicated lifestyle that we have a complicated way of life.
Yeah, thinking about, we should take care of our body, take care of our vitamin, supply, and it's so many things. And now on top of that, now you have to take care of your mental health, and then you have to, you have to learn a new language. You have to keep your brain working by doing some daily, brain gymnastics, and then bodily gymnastics, and it's like so many things you supposedly had to do. The gopis, they don't give a damn about nothing. They simply just want to be with Krishna.
No, this is automatically fulfilled by the simple lifestyle.
Yeah, so they just do their chores, daily chores, as they just do what they're told to do in the home, and in their spare time they just aspire to be with Krishna. Yeah. Okay, so that's why Prabhupada says the gopis are always liberated souls because they're fully in Krishna consciousness. They only pretend to be engaged entangled in household affairs in Vrindavan. Because of their separation from Krishna, he might have asked them to return with him to his capital city Dwarka. But the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, were not interested in the idea of going with Krishna to Dwarka. Now, did you hear that? They don't want to go with him there because they actually like the Vrindavan so much. They wanted to remain busy in Vrindavan and thus feel the presence of Krishna in every step of their lives. Because they remember Krishna, how he was in Vrindavan. They're in love with that Krishna. They don't actually in love with the Krishna of the battlefield, of Kurukshetra, or the rich king Krishna in Dwarka, because that's Aishwarya. They like the sweet mellows in the scenic nature, like it's kind of the mood of Vrindavan is the Madhurya mood. It's not so Madhurya in Kurukshetra or in Dwarka. Yeah. So they immediately invited Krishna to come back to Vrindavan, of course. This transcendental emotional existence of the gopis is the basic principle of Lord Chaitanya's teaching. The Ratha Yatra festival observed by Lord Chaitanya is the emotional process of taking Krishna back to Vrindavan. So they're pulling, Krishna on the Ratha Yatra, yeah? And they pull him, and that the place they supposedly pull him is back to Vrindavan. That's the idea. Srimati Radharani refused to go with Krishna to Dwarka to enjoy his company in the atmosphere of royal opulence, for she wanted to enjoy his company in the original Vrindavan atmosphere. Lord Krishna, being profoundly attached to the gopis, never goes away from Vrindavan, and the gopis and other residents of Vrindavan remain fully satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 82nd chapter of Krishna. Lord Krishna and Balarāma meet the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So any questions or comments?
Not really. I thought that was more prayers also, but maybe it's more chapters after where they continue from here, you know.
Yeah, they are definitely going to. Let me see. I'll take a look at the next chapter, which we'll have tomorrow. Draupadi is going to meet the queens of Krishna. Yeah, so now Draupadi, she will meet the queens of Krishna. They're going to have a good chat. Actually, we'll hear if I'm not wrong, the 8 queens. They will tell the 8 principal queens. Out of the 16,108, there are 8 which are kind of the best. And they will tell their story how they were, kidnapped by Krishna, or Krishna won them in a Swayamvar ceremony or something like that. So it'll be very, very sweet next time. So stay tuned. Any further comments? It looks like the chat took a break. I think they left, both of them. So yeah. You have something more, Prabhu?
I would like to sit and chat about Krishna.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, please continue. We can go on for 10 minutes more.
What would be, we can talk about this exact mellows of this different rasas, because here in the pastimes it's like the exchange between Nanda, Maharaj, and Vasudeva. You can see that they're very similar characters, even though they're just differently situated occupationally.
Yeah, so they are friends. They're good friends, but there is a difference, and it has been explained by acharyas that Vasudeva and his wife, of course, they are more into a relationship with Krishna of Aishwarya. Aishwarya means opulence, so they know. So that is indicating that they know the opulence of Krishna as being God himself.
Yes.
So that's So symptomatic of that is that when Krishna is born, you see they are seeing Krishna first in the four-armed form of Vishnu. That's how he's born in the prison of Mathura, where they are sitting. When Krishna is born there, they see him as Vishnu actually first. So they are all the time aware that he is actually Vishnu, the Lord. Whereas for Nanda and Yashodamai, they never see Krishna as Vishnu. They simply see him always as two-armed. So they believe he's actually a mundane child, like any other children, really. Of course, he's special, but they don't think that he's a god or something. At least they don't think he is the supreme god. So in that way, they have a more close relationship, more intimate relationship, because there is no awe and reverence there at all. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's like a little bit differently told by different people, these pastimes and stuff.
Yeah, so for example in Bhagavatam, when actually I don't think it was mentioned here, but it's mentioned in the original text of Bhagavatam, verse by verse. So then he said that Vasudeva, he's actually saying that you are better than me. He tells to Nanda. He says, I was too much, attached to Aishwarya. He doesn't use that word maybe, but he says, I wanted to have, the Supreme Lord as my son, but you are higher. So he says he wants to get rid of this desire, to have the Supreme Lord as his son. He wants to level up in his devotion, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so he's aspiring to come to the same level as Nanda Maharaj next time. Yeah.
But there was this, by taking, I guess the teachings, was it Krishna's teachings today? Was that in reality, everyone is actually ends up, I can imagine also ending up in the material world, is because we're somehow engaged with Krishna, and we see something so opulent Krishna is doing that we want to, I want to have more of this, and then we're given opportunity in a material situation.
Yeah, that may be one scenario. Yeah, the scenario is that, you heard about prosperity religion, right? So these people, they are believing in God. Prosperity religion, I know, is for example, some Christian groups, they're accused of that. Preaching prosperity religion, they preach, you should be rich, God will give you all the riches, and they also demand a lot of donations. There was a whole case about that, some YouTubers, they made, videos where they're confronting these great, Christian preachers who are very extremely rich because they're cashing in, millions and millions in donations. And they're also preaching that everybody should be rich. But that kind of, if you look from the kind of our Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view, such a devotee would be a devotee who is, very attached to Artha or Aishwarya.
And the truth is that everyone is already infinitely rich.
Yes, that's the point. So that's why one doesn't really need to be rich in the material world.
Exactly.
So that's the mood of Sudama Vipra. He didn't want to have nothing. And when that was completely manifested, he even went to Krishna. His wife sent him, and he even forgot to ask Krishna about anything. So that just shows he was completely detached from opulence, and that's why Krishna gave him so much opulence, just so his wife would be pleased. So in that way, it's a great teaching that the devotees shouldn't be after, this worldly opulence. Krishna will give you. When he sees that you are mature enough as a devotee, he will give you. He will make you rich like hell, if you like. But then he wants his devotees to be completely detached in that state, so that they won't fall down because of all the riches. Krishna is just concerned for his devotees' well-being. So that's why he is arranging like that. That very often devotees are poor because he knows they're not mature enough to take having a lot of opulence. They can become proud very easily if they are not pure enough in the heart. And then when I talk about riches and opulence, I mean all the connected, concepts, such as being very famous, having great skills and success and stuff like that. That's all connected. They're also called opulences, right? They're all blessings of Lakshmi. Yeah.
I also want to see Krishna in the aspect of in how he deals with his devotee, because he's always thinking about his devotee. He's saying that his mind is always absorbed in his devotees.
Yeah. So it's said it's said there in the Bhagavatam. I think it's later on. Then Krishna says, Yasyam anugrinami harishataddanam kshanai. He says, one which I favor very much, a devotee which I am very merciful to, I take away all his riches. So then that devotee...
That's when I think Narada inquires about the Pandavas.
Yeah, so then he says, then that devotee will feel very lost, and his family members will leave him, and he will have no other shelter than me, Krishna says. But then it's explained later that actually for one who's a mature devotee, then Krishna, he can give that devotee money and make him rich actually, or just keep his riches, because he sees that devotee can even use it for spreading, Krishna consciousness or whatever.
I accept that. So I just wanted to, put the perspective that in no matter what situation you're given, like opulent or not, in other way you should directly feel the presence of Krishna acting in favor of your relationship with him.
Yes. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this kind of paradox is also explained. I know about rich devotee, poor devotee. And then it's actually explained that Krishna, he may grant the desire of a devotee, the material desire of a devotee. When somebody is, a worshipper of Krishna, like every day he's doing something for Krishna, Krishna is taking notice of that person's situation. So he may give the material desire fulfilled. But he will fulfill it in such a way, it said there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, Krishna will fulfill the material desire of the devotee in such a way that the devotee will not desire again to have that material desire fulfilled.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it will be kind of instructionally fulfilled. So that's very interesting.
It's entirely special. This is specifically Hari, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Hari, really. And he's treating his devotees, case by case in a different, specific way. So it's not in any general way. Yeah, it's very wonderful. So,
but we were already convinced that Krishna he gives opulences to everyone who hankers after that. Because here works everyone according to their work and stuff. Sometimes through the demigods or this or that. But even we're talking about this football player who was like praying to God every time he scored a goal. Obviously, it's working. He's getting opulence and he's getting love for God. So it's a good, But if it was a devotee of Hari, this football player, then Hari would he would go through so many turbulences that he wouldn't know. He wouldn't be attached to having goals anymore. He would just be absorbed in the love of God.
Yeah, that would be a different scenario altogether. Yeah, it's nothing is the same. I mean, life is just, time never stops ticking. That's the important thing. That we can never say that this is a status quo, really, because all is very progressive. This life, for everybody. So that's the relationship with Krishna or with God is very, very unique for each person.
Kind of illusioning, because thinking that we are progressing in this or that, it's actually illusion, because the real fact is that we are spirit soul.
Yeah, but there is actually progression in that way in terms of a relationship. That's why Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's progressing his Leela. So the topmost devotees, those who are very close to Krishna, in love for Krishna, they are taking forms as brahmacharis and like that in Navadvip, and they continue, serving Krishna when he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, the Chaitanya pastime is so wonderful. I think.
Yeah. So it becomes.
In the beginning, he's such an intelligent scholar, and in the middle Leelas, he's like becoming a madman, going crazy. And in the later Leelas, he's absolutely on a different. He's actually a madman.
Yeah. So these things need to be really studied and pondered upon. We will get there. First we have Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and then in the end we will have Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay. I don't know. I was kind of going through the Madhya Lila recently, and I thought, especially the dance of Jagannath is maybe like one of the climaxes of this pastimes. It's like
it's very, very nice to hear that you already are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's great. Please continue.
I wanted to read Chaitanya Charitamrita immediately when I got into this movement, just after Bhagavad Gita. But
that's amazing. I did the same actually. I did the same, and that was by some coincidence, because I found it in my parents. Hva kaller man bokhylle på engelsk? Bookshelf.
Bookshelf.
Yeah, it was there somewhere or other. They have gotten it from a bookseller, a devotee or something. And that was the first book of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was in Swedish, and I read it immediately. And that was before I read, what?
It's the most effective way to inspire love of chanting is to read the pastimes of Chaitanya.
Yeah, it was very amazing. I mean, I had only read a few books before. I hadn't read Bhagavatam at all, and then I read this. Yeah.
But I'm glad I went through the Bhagavatam, because then I got to know, familiar with how the Vedas are stated, and how how the people are praying, and how sinful we are, really.
Yeah, that's the thing,
It is so funny in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas is like saying that anyone who just hears his name, Krishnadas's name, is immediately bereft of all pious qualities.
Isn't it far out? Yeah. Yeah.
He's like praying like that.
He's very, very humble. That's for sure.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny, because I don't know, immediately you get kind of thrown into the situation that you are the most sinful, fallen, lowest of all living entities. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like a few verses later, then Chaitanya is like glorifying you like anything. So
Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, we will continue tomorrow, bro. Thanks for today. I'll try and have it 7 tomorrow also. At least not later than 8.
yeah.
Super. Thanks for the chat. And Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.